Hello, fanboys and girls, and welcome to another episode of the Fanboy Fight Club podcast, brought to you by Media Junkies. Every Tuesday, we grace your ears with either a new or classic episode. You can find all of our previous episodes in our show's archives. Just search for Media Junkie on your favorite podcast app. Now, this is our flagship podcast, but if you love the sound of our voices, we have 3 other podcasts for your listening enjoyment. Love video games, you can check out Why Are You a Gamer podcast. If you like Mike and I and love wrestling, you can find us on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast. You can also check out Wes and Jamar on the Division 2 podcast entitled Rogue Agents, where you can find out tons of great information about the game. If you're using Apple Podcasts and you feel we deserve it, please leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media on Instagram and Twitter at Media Junkie Vids, or interact specifically with this podcast at FBFC Podcast. My name is Jason. I have the pleasure of hosting this show. It's time to introduce you to the fanboys. Then we're going to enter the ring for the main event. That's where the Fight Club part comes in. So without further ado, we have a full cast of characters in this week's show. First, the man who co-starred in Media Junkie, fresh from an Oscar party where his face won Best Comedy. We got the one and only Wes. How we doing, buddy?
Goddamn right it did.
Damn.
Goddamn right it did. Hey, at least I didn't win an Oscar for, delivering the best cappuccinos to stars or some shit, so.
This is true.
Yeah, you're not the best grip.
Oh, no, I have the best grip.
Jamar knows. So next, the fanboy who wants to know why you're a gamer. His internal battle between PC and PS4 is sure to win him the Oscar for best fights. Jamar, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm not too loud, am I?
You're a little loud, but it's okay.
Oh, jeez. I was joking.
Your voice is so radiant that it just can't be contained.
Well, I appreciate it.
Wow, man.
Wait, he's a judge this week, so it's okay.
I know, so you suck it up to him to do anything for you this week, so.
His current living situation is sure to bag him the Oscar for best drama. Returning to the show after missing last week, we have Jake. How's it going, buddy?
I like how you tried to make that into a joke, and it just didn't really work.
I don't know. It's pretty good of me.
Oh, man. Finally, my other co-host from the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast and the person behind all the graphics across the Media Junkie, and he sells T-shirts on tpublic.com. The guy who is always sure to be nominated but never win. Michael, what's up, buddy?
Oh, man, you just described my life in a nutshell. Oof.
Right? I thought that would hit home.
Oh, man. Hopefully this won't affect my fucking fight.
All right, so this is the part of the show where we really get kind of tough. Last few weeks, we really haven't had much, but I know at least 2/5 of us went to see Birds of Prey this weekend, so how was it?
Well, I'll start by saying it was really awesome. It was a really fun movie.
It was a fucking blast from start to finish. Like, my only complaint is that they dressed them all like a bunch of drug addict college students. Like, beyond that, like, I enjoyed the movie a lot.
It's not saying much, but it might be DC's second best movie.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Ooh.
Yes, I would.
It's still really good.
I haven't even seen it yet, and I would go that far.
Wow.
It doesn't beat out Batman vs. Superman.
I'm sorry,
really
but we're talking about the guy over here who didn't even go see it's one of the most highest grossing R-rated movies DC ever put out, and he's going to say that Birds of Prey was their best movie? Like, maybe go see the movies and then we'll talk.
I mean, are you talking about the Joker? Because that's not in, like, the DC universe. Like, we're not counting,
there is no DC universe
DC
anymore.
movies.
90% of their fucking movies are individual movies.
Well, I kind of feel like this is a
Wonder
part
Woman
of the
2.
DC.
I mean, this one's a part of their main continuity, but they aren't doing anything connected anymore. They're not going to they fucking did everything they could to not show Jared Leto in this movie.
That makes sense, though. Makes sense.
But it's
he
hilarious
sucks,
because
so.
Jake is so low, he's like, well, they made Wonder Woman 2.
Oh, my gosh. All right, cool. All right, anything else? Have anything they want to bring?
No.
No other opinions on it? All right, so we'll get into the main event. I'm going to let Jamar kind of introduce the main event, and then I'll introduce the contestants just because my voice needs rest. I've been sick. So, Jamar, why don't you tell everybody about the main event's all about?
Take a break, Jason. Go ahead and gargle something, and I'll go ahead and do this main event.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to the main event. It is time for the main event. I don't know why I read that. Anyways, so who doesn't love the 80s? Am I right? Brought so many amazing trends and cool movies. So we decided to actually give some sequels to some 80 movies that we felt that really deserved it. So I'm pretty excited to see what you guys all came up with. Now, of course, Mike didn't get to choose his movie because, excuse me, he's the bitch of the week. So me and Jason decided to choose for him, and I'm excited to see what he actually does with it. Now, here's how it works. Each fighter gets an intro round to bring up their topic. After that, they get 30 seconds to defend, and then after that, 30 seconds to attack. And then lastly, close it all up, put a little bow on it, and then we come down to the final judgment of who is the bitch of the week. Now, in between each round, we'll give our scores and add them all up at the end. Now, the goal is to win, but the real motivation should be not to be the loser. Trust me, you don't want to be the bitch of the week. And then if you're kind of wondering what the hell I'm talking about when I keep saying bitch of the week, it is our punishment for the Fanboy Fight Club. It is bestowed upon each loser of the episode. Yeah, that sounds totally right. So since Mike is the bitch of the week, he has a very important job not to lose, because he will become the double bitch of the week. And then surely if he loses and becomes a double bitch of the week, he will lose again and become the triple bitch of the week, because it is an amazing name. Now, are you guys ready for the intros?
Sure.
Thank you for that, Jamar. We appreciate that.
I was worried if you were done gargling.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I had to plug in my laptop because I realized that it was going to die soon, so that would have made this really awkward.
No, now you know how I would have felt last week.
All right, here we go. Fighting out of the red corner. He is a movie lover who focuses on the financials, ready to lay in left and rights like they're dollars and cents. Wes, the box office. Fighting out of the blue corner. He has an eccentric taste, and he hates everybody and everything that doesn't agree with him. The critic of critics, Jake.
Man, that could have been either one of them.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it.
If I was a bitch of the week, I would assume he's talking about me.
Fighting out of the bitch corner. He's the bitch of all bitches. The bitch of the week, Michael.
Very, very creative.
I could have done that a lot better had I not been sick. So, all right.
I just want to point out something real quick. Missed opportunity to not call him the box office barista.
That would have been a throwback.
Excuse me, are you the host? Shut up.
The ultimate box office barista.
Oh,
all right.
man.
Well, we're ready to get started, Jamar. I don't have my phone with me, so you might have to.
Dude, I gotcha. I am the watchman.
I appreciate you. All right, so we got round one on the clock. The way round one works is where everybody gets to state their case, and it looks like we have Jake up first. So, Jake, the floor is yours. Tell us the movie you chose.
Oh, well, fuck. Okay. You're making me do this shit first.
That's what you get for missing last week.
Yeah, well, I was
random name.
having fun,
Random name.
So. All right. So, I'm just going to come out right out and say it. I'm not going to have like this grand build up or anything. The Labyrinth needs a sequel. Now, I know what you're saying. David Bowie's dead. Don't do that. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. Well, unfortunately, with his passing, we can no longer use Jareth. But he was the Goblin King. Doesn't necessarily mean we can't go another direction. I'm thinking Tilda Swinton. She's got that really weird look. She can do it. She can act well. You know, and she has... Put her in a codpiece. I don't even care. It would still work. So, boom, there. We have a Goblin Queen or King. Just let her decide what she wants to play. And then we can kind of develop a backstory of why Jareth is no longer there. Maybe he gets deposed because Toby escapes. Now, we need another person that would fill the shoes of Jennifer Connelly. I'm thinking perhaps it could be her daughter in the movie. And to play that role, I'm thinking Thomasin McKenzie. Now, for those of you who don't know that name off the top of your head, go watch Jojo Rabbit. Be ashamed that you waited this long to see it. It's an amazing movie. In Jojo Rabbit, she plays Elsa, and she does a fantastic job. She does a fantastic job developing a relationship out of nothing with the main character Jojo, who's much younger than her. So you can tell that she has that like elder sister quality to her already, and she kind of looks like Jennifer Connelly. And I think it would work really well and fit well with this new theme. You have a baby, of course. Other than that, you don't need any other actors in this movie. It would be all puppeteers. Bring in the Henson Company again, and Brian Froud. Let them go fucking crazy, or their families, because obviously you can't use Jim Henson, but Brian Henson is just as good. And then any big creature you need to put a body in, Doug Jones. Just give Doug Jones more work. I don't care what it is. Just let him do everything. And then, I know what you're asking. Who can bring this scary, amazing, creepy, funny feel to this movie that the original had? And I feel like the obvious answer would be Guillermo del Toro. So, there you have it. Guillermo del Toro, Labyrinth 2, Tilda Swinton, Thomasin McKenzie. Boom. Argument done. Argument over. The other guys don't even have to say their shit.
All right. Well, they don't have to, but they're going to anyway. So we'll go ahead and move on to Wes, who's going to be next in the first round.
You can't run, you can't hide, and eventually you'll be inside. Coming in 2021, New Line Entertainment is proud to expand our horror franchises and announce The Blob Part 2. Since its release in 1988, The Blob has achieved a massive cult status, as it should have, as the film is brutal and one entertaining piece of cinema. If you haven't seen the film, I would recommend you check it out tonight. One of the best aspects of The Blob is you didn't know who would live or die. The main character in the film was cut off within the first 20 minutes, keeping you on your toes. Also, kids die in the film, which usually doesn't happen. Because of that, The Blob had an exciting sense of dread. We didn't know what would happen because anything could. So let's talk about the plot. If you remember, The Blob ended with a priest keeping a part of the blob alive in a jar. The Blob Part 2 utilizes this ending to build upon its story. The story kicks off 30 years later, and the priest still has the piece of blob alive. The priest is on his last breath, whispering about the end of the world. Close-up shots of newspaper clippings recap what happened in the previous film. Eventually, the priest takes his last breath. As he dies in the bed, the jar rolls off his body and shatters on the ground. The blob moves up to the bed and starts to eat the priest. The title card will reveal the title, The Blob Part 2, and we dissolve into a beautiful, scenic view of Arborville, California. It's been 30 years since the blob attacked Arborville, but the city will never forget. We meet our main protagonists of the film. Haley Davis and Ken Brown are engaged, enjoying a weekend away from each other at their bachelor and bachelorette parties. As Ken and his groomsmen are enjoying a round of golf, talking about girls and having fun, a man runs onto the course screaming in pain. All groomsmen run over to the man to see his bottom half is covered in a pink slime and melting away. They rush the man to the hospital, and in the story, this is where all hell breaks loose. I don't want to give it away, so I'm going to refrain from myself from digging too deep in the story. I do want to give you a hint on an exciting turn the story will take. Expect multiple blobs. I won't tell you how or when, but expect the chaos. Let's talk about the talent. First, I want to talk about who's producing the film. Atomic Monster Productions, which is ran by James Wan, will be producing this film. James has expressed an interest in continuing this story, and New Line couldn't think of a better production company to continue our historic partnership. James has hired Scott Kozar, who has written The Haunting of Hill House, The Machinist, and the excellent Texas Chainsaw remake to keep this story terrifying. In order to bring the reality and the brutality of the film to life, we need to make sure we had the right cast. Armie Hammer and Allison Williams lead the top roles of the film. Also, Liam Neeson, Peter Dinklage, and Ben Schwartz have all signed on. Along the runtime of the film, you may even see some horror icons such as Tony Todd, Tom Savini, Robert Englund, and more. I don't want to give any more away, but let me say I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. When thinking of a director, we couldn't think of a better choice than Mike Flanagan. He has proven over and over again that he understands the blueprints to creating a successful horror film. For the special effects, we're keeping it all practical. To do this, we're bringing in Amalgamated Dynamics. You may be familiar with their work if you've seen Tremors, Starship Troopers, Alien 3 and Resurrection, Stephen King's It, Godzilla, and the Spider-Man films, to name a few. Amal Dynamics is determined to pull off some of the best and nastiest practical effects you will ever see. So The Blob Part 2 will launch worldwide on October 15th, 2021. Remember, terror has no shape. We're excited for you to see the film. Thank you.
All right. Very strong opening there, Wes. I love it. All right. So, last but not least, the bitch. Mike, what you got?
Alrighty. In a world suffering from reboots and endless sequels to movies that you are older than most of the viewers, Paramount Pictures brings you another reboot sequel that you definitely don't need. A sequel about a man who never grew up, can't keep a job, had his pregnant girlfriend leave him at the altar, and even lost his best friend for getting him fired for playing hooky too much. That's right. Coming in 2020, you're going to get to witness Ferris Bueller Laid Off. Come see all the original cast take your money one more time. That's right. Ferris Bueller Laid Off. That's what I got.
All right. You're done?
Yeah, I'm done. That was...
Whew. All right.
That's
Short and sweet
funny.
to the point, I guess.
Yeah,
All right.
I like to keep it short and sweet, baby.
All right.
Well, I'm assuming since the dramatic silence, this is not going to go well for me in this round.
You want to go first?
I can unless you want to.
I think I have it scored. I'm being
cool.
very fair.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Wes, Jake, and Mike. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I got it the exact same. Wes, Jake, and Mike there. Yeah.
Wow, I don't bring any production value to mine. I get shit on. I bring production to mine. I get shit on.
Dude,
I'm
it's not
done
that
with
you didn't
round
have
one.
production
I'm just
value,
going
you
to
just
walk in and not put anything on the table and fuck everyone over like Jason did last time.
You had no detail. Like
I didn't need detail. It's like a teaser trailer. Teaser trailers don't give you detail.
You had me hooked, and then you just
And even
ended
then,
it.
I've given everybody fucking a full cast and crew and fucking
Whoa! Come
how
on,
much it's going to
man.
cost before. It still gets shit on the first round, so I'm done. I'm not bringing anything the first round. I'm going to fuck everyone over and then take the win at the end, just like Jason did last week.
I loved the title. I loved everything about it. It just wasn't enough there.
Oh my
It's just
gosh.
I have to be objective. Well, should we move on to round two?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to round two. So basically, we have the fuck everyone else round. This is the one I fucked up last week.
Yeah, not the defend round.
So
This is the attack.
starting off this round, we have Wes. So Jamar, you got the clock. Let them know when you're ready.
I am ready now.
All right, Jake, let's talk about The Labyrinth. They're currently working on the sequel with Fede Alvarez directing. He confirmed in late 2018 that the script was completed. To be honest, I don't believe this film will work today. All the movies they're bringing back are blockbusters or continued horror franchises. But a nice job making a fuck you round into your intro by shitting on us at the very end. Classy. Ferris Bueller Laid Off. This 30-second attack round is longer than your intro. He's laid off. Laid off from what? I mean, there's no details here. There's so much that's vague, and there's no meat to attack that. You just have to attack the presentation.
Call it quits. All right. Oh man, it's entertaining. I love it. All right. Oh, you want me to tell them who's next?
No, I got it. Sorry.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. No,
Yeah, my fault. No, you can, honestly. I'm tired.
All right.
So I'll pass it off to you.
Mike, you're up with your 30 seconds on the clock. Starting now. Whoa.
All right, so let's start with Jake. The Labyrinth, you're taking one of the most timeless movies that everybody loves and trying to shit on its legacy with a fucking sequel. Get out of here with that. Also, are you trying to sell the judges on Labyrinth or Jojo Rabbit? I feel like you spent more time talking about Jojo Rabbit and how great it is that you didn't even get a chance to really talk better about your Labyrinth movie. And as far as West goes, I mean, really? Did you let Jake make your pick this week? I haven't even heard of this movie. No one's gonna fucking watch this. They're gonna be confused by the fact that it's a part 2 because no one's even heard of the first and fucking part 1.
All right. About a second under. Good job. Good job. All right. So up next, of course, we have Jake. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Attack their shit. Go.
All right, so you both gave me answers for my attack round. Wes, you said that, why do the Labyrinth, and then that, like, okay, let's start with Mike. Mike, you just said, why pick the Labyrinth when people only want, because it's a classic? Dude, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the classic. You did the same shit. Granted, you didn't get to pick, but you're still doing the same shit I am. Wes, you said that you shouldn't touch
What are you
the
looking
Labyrinth.
Oh, stop. But
That's okay. I was just trying to help you figure out what you're doing.
okay, I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was the 30 seconds though. All right, we're good. Like, you're not muted. All right, I guess he doesn't care.
Oh my gosh.
So, did we just have the same mistake as last week?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, Jake. Were you defending yourself or were you going after them?
I think Jake is there.
I was going after them
Okay.
because I was using what they used against me against them. So it wasn't really like a defend round because they were trying to say, "Oh, don't mess with the classic. You're messing with the classic."
No, yeah,
I got you.
I took it as an attack.
All right. So round 2, Jamar, you got this scored out. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. I went first last time. Your turn.
All right. I thought Mike brought the fire. I'll go Mike West.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so although Mike did bring the fire, I went Wes, Mike, Jake. So round 3 coming up to defend your shit. This is the don't come for me round. Up first, we have Mike. You ready to defend?
I'm ready. I'm going to keep this one real short.
All right. Seems to be a theme for you today. All right. 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
So I don't even know what to say at this point because all I have is Wes boo-hooing that I didn't give him enough with my teaser that I fucking put a lot of effort into fucking production value in. And even then, I gave you several reasons for why his life's shit and gave you the title where he's laid off. If that's not enough to fucking entice you to be like, oh, clearly there's a reason why you're doing this. It's about him and the result of him skipping school. And Jake, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, we all were confused thinking you defended yourself. All you did is you took what we said and turned it around. Like, I'm rubber and you're glue? I don't know. That's all I got.
All right, stop. Oh, all right. Up next, we have Jake. Go ahead and defend your shit. Starting now.
Yeah, the only reason I spent so much time on Jojo Rabbit talking about it is because nobody knows the actress by name. So that's why I did that. Also, I mean, like, yeah, I used what you guys used against me back against you. Sure, you could say it's rubber versus glue, but in the end, you guys made my points for me. I didn't even have to make an argument because every point you made was back against yourself at the same time.
Jake going meta on us.
Yeah, you got it, man. All right, let's stop that. Ooh, excuse me. Last up, Wes, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Hey, Mike, you stated no one's going to watch this. I described how the film has achieved cult status since coming out. It has a large following. A lot of horror films are coming back from the 80s that have achieved cult status, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This movie could come back and do well, too. And Jake, you didn't say a single bad thing about my movie that was bad, and I appreciate that. I know you think the idea is great, and I know, sure as shit, you would see this movie because it sounds fucking awesome. Thank you.
All right.
1 second on the clock. All righty.
All right. What do you got, Jamar?
All right. I had to do a quick amendment here. So I'm going Wes, Jake, Mike.
I actually had it scored the exact same.
Are you keeping score for both?
I am, yeah.
Okay, good shit. I was writing them down, but I was like, I don't know. All right. So this is the final round. Jason, if you would like to tally up the score, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say it's a very close fight from here. So up first.
It is
we
close.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, I was right. So first we have Jake. Are you ready to close this out here with your final arguments?
Oh man, I gotta go first again. I went first on the first round.
Have me go first. I haven't gone first yet.
You went first on the fuck you round.
Fuck everyone round.
Oh, did I? Oh,
That's just how
Yeah.
a cycle always goes. It just recycles all the way back to the beginning.
It's only 3 people. I mean, oh, if you want to go first, Wes, we can make an amendment.
I mean, I did. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I didn't know I went first, and my brain doesn't work very well.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll go.
I have a huge fucking migraine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Wes,
give Jake a minute.
Wes is first.
All right. In 2021, people will be ready to scream as the Blob unleashes its terror on the big screen. The Blob Part 2 is great for a multitude of reasons. One is it's being produced by the powerhouse James Wan. Another is the script is written by the phenomenal Scott Kozar. And lastly, the talent involved is monumental. The amazing cast will help bring a sense of dread, a male dynamics will bring the terror and tension to life, and finally, our director, Mike Flanagan, who, again, has proven repeatedly that he knows horror and will create one of the best modern pieces of horror. And horror is in right now. Every horror film that launches makes a massive amount of profit. And why else are movie studios in the movie business? To make money. This is a story that needs told, and New Line has hired the best talent available to make sure it is told correctly. The cult status of The Blob shows there is a market for this film, and let me say, what a film. Lastly, I wanted to leave you with one piece of news before we are done. NECA has obtained the license to produce the Blob toys. Expect to see their glory creations hit the shelves in October 2021. Thank you.
All right.
Good job. Good job.
Good way to close it out.
Expect to overpay for slime.
Yeah, you get these cool.
I mean, they already do have the new alien toys.
Yeah, you pour slime on them. It'd be fucking awesome seeing them melting inside slime.
Are you ready, Jake?
Yeah, I'm good.
All righty. Go ahead and close your arguments.
All right, so pretty much the only argument against doing a Labyrinth was either A, don't mess with the classic, or B, we're only doing giant blockbuster movies, not these movies with cult followings. Wes has already picked a cult following movie. I think that's a good idea. I think The Labyrinth is the better idea. Labyrinth has way more of a following than The Blob. When it comes down to it, if you walk up to somebody and you're like, hey, have you ever seen this movie called Labyrinth? Most of the time they've at least heard of it. Blob, not so much. Then, the other argument against the Labyrinth is don't touch a classic. Dude, we're making a sequel to Ghostbusters. That's the reason we are doing this episode of the podcast. If there's anything that's a classic, it's Ghostbusters. And yet they're doing a sequel of it, yet nobody seems to have a problem with touching that classic. Listen, it's a good idea. It's going to do well in the theaters, especially with this lineup, especially with who's involved. You have practical effects, and then you can even have the amazing Doug Jones in it doing all the creatures and everything like that. I mean, he's one of the best parts of every movie he's in. He was just coming off of Shape of Water. That was last year. All that kind of stuff. He's in Star Trek Discovery. He's the best part of that show. And you have Guillermo del Toro, who's just everything he touches is gold. That's just the facts. So I don't even need to continue on this path of the closing arguments because it feels futile because it's just the best idea of the three.
Ooh. All right. Jake coming through with the confidence.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
Well, you have a lot of pressure on you, Mike. I'm not saying you're going to crack. You might crack.
Thanks, Jamal.
Right.
Thanks.
All right.
That's witness tampering, sir.
All right. Go ahead and close it out.
So, to start the closing argument round, I'm going to start with the fact that I didn't get my point across with my opening statement. I should have been a little better at it, but my goal was to make a movie that was so bad that it might give us hope that Hollywood would stop bringing back old movies and relying on nostalgia checks to pay their bills and actually come up with original ideas again. Because it's been so many years. Yeah, we still get a couple movies sprinkled in throughout the year, but if it's not like a Marvel movie or a big summer blockbuster like Fast and Furious, realistically, it's all just remakes. And anything other than that, it turns into an indie movie or an award movie that few people see. And it's kind of sad because back in the 80s and the 90s, like, you had tons of like original movies that would come out and they were incredible, and that's why they're remaking them all. But out of these three movies, the one that needs made is Ferris Bueller's Laid Off, so that maybe if it bombs hard enough and turns off the crowd so much, they'll stop making reboots and remakes and sequels and try to make the movie industry great again. And that's my closing argument.
All right, man. That was.
I just have to say that, like, of course it'll bomb. Like, have you seen the way that Matthew Broderick looks? Like, have you seen So, yeah, like, obviously it's going to bomb.
Well, I mean, it makes it more realistic. He'd be offered a job.
I mean, I could make a joke like, have you seen how David Bowie looks? Like,
Oh, I don't know if that's. I don't think it's okay.
I think you get points taken off for insulting the star man.
Wow.
I mean, this is why I went with a new cast. Have you seen Kevin Wednesday? Nobody has.
Thank you, Wes, for trying to take the heat off me and changing it.
Well, I mean, this is the toughest round. I thought all three of you did a good job here. Damn. I mean, I was all pretty much set on what I had to do, but I kind of liked where Mike went with that. So it's a little tough for me. How are you doing, Jamar? You got it figured out, or do you still need a minute?
I'm like, literally, it's a toss up right now.
I know. I'm the same way.
Yeah, well, so what I'll say is, as far as...
You can't give Mike the satisfaction for bombing the first round on purpose.
No, it's not that.
First off, it wasn't on purpose. I should have put more into my teaser to get the point across. That I thought I read more into it than what it was, so it wasn't on purpose. Trust me.
No, it's just the idea that, like, I like this show because we bring something new each week to try and, like, find a creative way, and that's why I kind of want to reward the creativity, but I also really, really, really like, you know, Jake, like, closed it out well. So that's why I'm, like, having a tough time.
I know. I'm the same one.
So, like, I mean, well, I'll start it with this. This is how I have it. This is so hard. All right, I'm just going to go. I'll stick to it, still give brownie points, but I'm going to stick to my guns and do this fair. It's going to be Wes, Jake, Mike.
All right. And honestly, I mean, with it being said that way, Mike, even if I were to give you second place on that, it wouldn't matter. So I'm just
go ahead and give it to Jake. He won with his extra defend round.
I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my guns too, and go Wes, Jake, and Mike as well, which is gonna make an unprecedented. I think this is our first time double bitch of the week, is it not?
It is. I mean, I've been bitch of the week multiple times, but not in a row.
The first in history double bitch of the week. Mike is. His BS meter might have ran out here.
This feels like so fucking dark right now. Like, you guys are both like, this is a first.
We're in the dark timeline. Everybody has to grow a goatee.
Damn, so somber right now.
Whoa, let's congratulate who was the winner.
Oh yeah, Wes was the overall winner. He brought it strong. Wes came real prepared this week. You had a great argument for everything. And honestly, man, like when you were going through your opening, I wanted to see that movie. And I've never even seen the original Blob. So I give you huge props for that.
You really should. It's fucking rad.
Yeah, that was good.
I will say, because last week you were kind of like, I don't know, you know. But this one you really, really like kicked ass. So good.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I give you props there. So Wes, the overall winner. Mike, the double bitch of the week. Mike, do you have anything you want to say for yourself?
Just check Discord.
I think Mike disconnected.
All right. Well, I guess
it says he's still in here. I don't know.
It just
we love you, Mike. We love you.
we do love you.
All
We love
right.
you. Hopefully, we can get Mike a good topic to work with next week. Anyway, all right. Well, this took a turn. So, thank everybody for listening to this week's episode of the Fanboy Fight Club podcast. The first rule of the Fanboy Fight Club podcast is that you must talk about the Fanboy Fight. We are Media Junkies' flagship podcast, but we offer so much more. Like I said before, you can catch Michael and I on the Gimmick Wrestling podcast. You can also check out Jamar on his new Why Are You Gamer, he and Wes on the Rogue Agents Division 2 podcast. You can also buy shirts from Mike on tpublic.com. I don't know if he's going to say anything about that right now or not. Nope, definitely not. So you can also find all the content on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MediaJunkie. And Jake will interact with you on our Facebook and our Twitter at FBFC Podcast. And if you search Fanboy Fight Club on Facebook, you'll find our page. So that being said, check us out on all your favorite podcast apps like Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. Normally, I have some questions to outro the show, but I do them this time. So I guess the only one I'll ask, will Mike ever speak to us again? Find out the answers to that question and more on the next episode of the Fanboy Fight Club podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're doing. Yeah, that's what I gotta do.